Hello, I think we're fine actually. Hello everybody, thank you all for coming. Michele and Scott, Atwood, co-owners, Main Street Mouse with Michele. Thank you for coming to TMSM live on location, our first show. Sorry about the parking. There was a festival going on this week. That's what happened last week, and they moved it last minute and didn't tell us until the other day. So we do apologize for that. But I want to get started. I want to introduce you to our co-hosts for this show today. We hope you guys enjoyed. First up, from BigFatPanda.com and Fox 35, John Saccheri. And you can game.
A little bit.
A little bit.
I sprained my thigh, don't even ask. That's what I needed.
Oh.
No, I'm not to talk about my thigh sprain longer.
We'll talk about it later.
It's an important issue, we need to know about it. It happens. Hey!
From her midday show and coffee combo Wednesday, Cindy Simmons.
I wanted to do that. Because of my thigh.
And my wife, best-selling Amazon author, from 96.5 she threw me off on WDBO 96.5 Orlando, and the Main Street Mouse, Michele and Atwood.
My thigh is good.
Okay.
I makes me know which station I work for.
John threw me off, it's that
Patient for God was mine.
What's that?
Patient for God was my thigh.
It was your thigh. I think there's a word for
As
it.
much sympathy as possible.
So first and foremost, I wanted to thank each and every one of you for attending this today. With this being our first show, we didn't know what was going to happen. When we got into this, we were like, we don't know if anybody's going to want to come, so we're excited that all of you took time on your Sunday to come see us. So thank you so much for coming in our first. We had no idea when we first issued this, we did 100 tickets, and then those went really quick, so we issued 120. And they sold out because I think people are driving around Old Town right now. So we might have stragglers come in.
And that's okay.
That's fine. They can come on in. We will definitely take them. But secondly, we did want to thank Old Town for providing a venue for us for this. So if you haven't been to Old Town in years, they've done a lot of renovations over the last couple of years. Really boosted it, made it a lot better. A lot more shops, a lot more restaurants. Just a big update. So we thank Todd and his crew for helping us get this venue and bringing us in here to do this show for you guys. And then last but not least, I want to thank Mark. Mark in the back. The tune we played right before we all came out, Mark wrote that. Recorded it, and sent it in for us. So we actually have our own tune, and he's our band. So Mark the band. So what we're going to do is just give you a quick rundown. We're just going to ask the co-hosts a couple questions, so let them get to know you, or you get to know them a little bit better. We're going to cover a news topic. We're just going to talk about Disney a little bit, and then we're going to shut off the live feed, and then we're going to do a live Q&A with the group here. So online, they will not be part of the Q&A. It's just going to be for you guys here who are in attendance with us. So we do that. So are we ready to get going?
Ready. We're ready.
Okay.
Some of you have to smile. I am not going to look at sad faces.
We're sorry about the parking this morning.
Okay. So the first thing we want to talk or ask is each one of us works for Disney Media somehow. We all cover Disney in some way, some capacity. And so the question we thought a good one is, what made you fall in love with Disney? I mean, none of us do this just for a job. For all of us, this is something that we enjoy, we love doing. So what was it that when you were younger, first made you say, I love Disney, I want to learn more, I want to be able to cover it, I want to share it with more people? And I think we'll go with John first. I'll let you start with that question.
All right, is that the same thing as the memory?
Yeah, it's also a memory.
All right,
What's
so
your earliest Disney memory?
It's kind of a two-part.
Yeah. There.
If anybody ever saw the documentary Dreamfinders, the reason I fell in love with Disney was I was on the boat, on the ferry, going across the Seven Seas of Disney, and I'm on my dad's shoulders. Yes, at the time I was small. And I just remember seeing that what we all see, that skyline where you see the castle, and there's this world across the way, and I had never left the house except to go to the game farm in New York. So it was just really different to me that this world existed, and that was a big thing. I said, I'm going to live here one day. And my father said, don't worry, you'll get over that. And I never did get over it. But if we're going to a memory, there is a really specific, clear as day memory that I have where they wanted to find a haunted mansion, my family. I'm about 5 years old, again, never been to Disney. And they all wanted to find a haunted mansion. I remember thinking, this is bad. I don't want to go on this thing. I don't want to see the haunted mansion. And we get up to the house, and it's howling, and my brother's excited to go. My father said, I'm petrified. So I start crying. And I remember crying. And my father is a big Italian guy. Okay, me, minus 20 pounds, but plus a foot. So he never hit us. My dad never hit us. So we were going to get a beat because my mother was a wooden spoon.
Oh my goodness.
But he would buy, when he got mad, he'd inflict pain on himself. And you knew, oh, he's hurting himself, this must be serious. And he got down, and he says to me, there's only one thing in this world you'll be scared of. It's not this house, it's me! And I did. At that moment, I was absolutely more scared of him than the house. So I went on, and I loved it. And I remember at the time it wasn't one pay one price to get into the thing, it was tickets. So I overheard him tell someone, I don't know how much it was at the time, I wish we could look, 1976, what it cost to go on a ride. Whatever it was, we were in a $20 a night hotel, so it must have been expensive. And he says, I'm going to go broke, I'm sorry I didn't let him go on it. But I hadn't gotten back to Disney for 10 years after that. So there was a span there where I just obsessed over how amazing and creative the Haunted Mansion was. And the moral is sometimes kids need to be pushed and it's okay, I think. My 2 cents, that's my.
That was last week.
Mine's a little different because I am originally from California. So I grew up in Disneyland. Disneyland was like my childhood home. So my daddy, who unfortunately is no longer with us, took me and my little brother when I was about 4 or 5. We went with my grandparents who lived with us. So that was my earliest memory. And it's my favorite because my dad was all about experiences and not about things. We didn't grow up with a lot of money, but we would get to stay at the Disneyland Hotel sometimes, just maybe for one night, or we would stay at the Howard Johnson down the street, which I loved. So Disneyland was just a part of my life for so long. We did grad night when I graduated high school and went to Disneyland. And then when I started interning at a radio station, and it's actually the radio station where Ryan Seacrest works now, we had a syndicated radio show that we did live from Disneyland every Sunday night. So I got to go to Disneyland every Sunday night, and that, like, the gravity of that was not lost on me. I thought, this is cool. Like, I kind of work at Disneyland, but not really. Like, we get to come here every Sunday night to do this radio show, and it's just been a part of my life. So because my dad sort of did that, with our family, with my mom, my dad, my grandparents. Now my mom lives with us, Mom and Jane, and then we take our kids. I have 2 daughters, and so we take them all the time. So it's just, for us, it's a family experience.
Your turn.
I don't know if mine's is good. Both of yours are good.
It's not a memory competition.
It might be. Okay, so for
No bullshit.
I gotta think of
There
something
could be
good.
prizes for the
Okay. So when I was little, my mother taught school, and she had this in her mind that I was going to start reading by the time I was like 2, let's say. And I'm gonna date myself, but do y'all remember like when they would send a book home every month? Like there was a book club, like Dr. Seuss and Disney or whatever. So I remember her getting a hold of Sleeping Beauty, and that was the one book that I read over and over. I mean, the thorns and her picking her finger and the spindle and the whole thing. And I knew how it ended, but I needed to read it every night. And that's one of the books that I actually learned to read with was Sleeping Beauty. And then the next memory, I'd say, is they did a re-release of Lady and the Tramp. Now, when the original movie came out, it was not on yet, but back then they were doing re-releases in theaters. And I remember I was probably 5, and my mother thought she could handle me in the movie theater. And that was the first Disney movie that I ever went to see. And then I somehow talked them into taking me to the Magic Kingdom when I was around 6. And I don't remember a whole lot about that trip, truthfully. I remember the castle. I remember my dad standing along, like, I would say it was probably like the bridge where you can see the castle in the background. I remember my mother going to take a picture of him, and I ran as fast as I could, and I had a hat on. And I threw my hat because I had to get a picture because it's a Disney picture. And then I remember when she got the picture developed, you could see my dad's face. You saw the hat. And ever since then, for some time, like I said, I was probably 6. It's sticking in my head so much that this is what I wanted to. Like I want to go back to Disney so bad. And then when I was in high school, everybody, in my senior year, everyone was trying to go to a cruise and everyone's going to go drink it up and whatever. And I'm like, but I want to go to Disney World. Does anybody want to go to Disney? So I ended up not going on the boozy cruise. I went to Disney World for my senior. And then after that, every other chance that I could get. I know when my kids were born, right away, you're going to. So that's what started that.
It hasn't stopped.
It has not stopped.
So the one thing is, like I said, we all cover Disney events, and that's how we've gotten to know each other. Just going to these events, seeing one another. We actually become family because we're together so much. A couple in the crowd do the same thing we do, and then they know it's like you become reliable on these people, be your friends and such. And but you don't start out that way usually. You don't just call Disney one morning and say, hey, I want to cover your media event, when do I come out? And then they give you passes and all this. So that had nothing to do like that at all. So once you get that first email from Disney saying, hey, we want you to cover this event for us, and you're on cloud 9. At least I was. I know Michelle, Cindy, Panda was. Panda probably was.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that they accepted the name like Panda. And it comes from Kung Fu Panda, but a lot of people don't know that because it's not Disney. So.
That's true. But so you wait for that email. Once you get that, you get to cover that event, and you're just on cloud 9 that whole day. But since you've gotten that ability to cover an event for Disney, what is the event that you are so thankful Disney invited you to do, or what experience did you get to do that Disney offered to you? And we'll start with Cindy this time.
That's what, Panda. I think for me, my first one was Disney Social Media Moms, which was an event that was happening once a year, and mine was 2016. And I was just more excited about it because what I would always hear is, oh, they give you free stuff. And I think it's from what I spoke of earlier with my dad and how we were raised. We just weren't raised to care about free stuff. We were raised to care about experience and having those memories. So I think for me that I got to bring my family on the first event, and that I got to experience learning, like the behind the scenes stuff for Disney. And so Disney Social Media Mom Celebration was an event that went on for almost 10 years. Now they do a version of it called Disney Social Media, no moms, just Disney Social Media on the road. But the event that I know when I went, I was like, wow, this is really cool. When they added Red Hat to Pirates of the Caribbean and Magic Kingdom. And I got to go to the park in the morning before the park opened, and there was no one there, and got to take a picture in front of the castle. I was like, wow, this is really cool. And I got to go with just a couple of other people and see it before it opened to the public. And I remember thinking, this is like a really cool memory. And then I have one tiny other one. We were invited to cover Disney youth programs, and I have 2 daughters, 14 and 6, and I got to take a teenager when she was 12 or 13. And it was something just the 2 of us got to do together. And it was almost like an education for me as much as it was for her to learn how Disney is so involved in youth programs. So that was like another behind the scenes thing, but I felt like I learned so much in getting to have that experience with her. It's something that I'll always
Michelle.
Okay, so this was a hard question for me because when we first moved here, I had been told many times that you're the new kid, you will not cover media events. This is not going to happen for you. So I guess I sort of I don't want to give up, but I was like, okay, if this ever happens, then great. And if not, I'm still going to do a good job. So when we got the first big announcement for Pandora, when they opened World of Avatar, we got an email. And I thought, did they send it to the wrong address? And we just kept checking it over and over, like, oh my gosh. And I think that since then, it's been, I know some people maybe don't look at it the same, but I look at it as I'm grateful.
Yes.
Like, that Disney cares enough about what we do at the Main Street Mouse where, you know, they want us to come and cover, they want us to be a part of it. And for me, it's more like I'm gonna work my butt out to keep my spot because I want Disney to be happy with what we do. But there has been a couple of times, I know that a year ago, I was doing Destination D, and we got to meet Bob Chapek in Magic Kingdom when they were doing their celebration outfits for the year. And I got to, I mean, I didn't know that. I got pulled aside, and I'm like, I thought I was going to go take my pictures. And my Disney rep said, whispers to me, she goes, you're going to meet Bob Chapek. And I was like, no. Okay, so I think everybody knows who Bob Chapek is, right? He's like in charge of everything. Well, okay, really. He's your man in charge of the Disney G23 panel. So I was scared to death to meet him because, like, what do I say? And I just said, thank you. You know, it's such an honor to meet you. And he looked at me and he said, no, thank you for all you do for my company. And I turned around and you'll never guess what happened. Holy cry! I found my Disney rep and I went up to her and I was like, and there was a quiet crying. I said, because it means something to me. To me, like the fact that somebody like that would, I'm thanking him and he's thanking me. And every event that we get to do, sometimes I feel like I'm pinching myself. You know, we got to cover for Toy Story 4 with some people in this room got to do that, and we're sitting there with Keanu Reeves and Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, and I still do it, you guys. I still sit there like, how did I get here? Why am I here? I mean, and it's not necessarily self-doubt. I think it's really important to keep yourself in check because we are so blessed to be able to cover these events. And you want to do a good job for the people that follow you because it's the people that follow us that make us everything that we are. So when we're there, we're working with them, we want to do a good job. But so I appreciate all of them. I really do.
No.
I think the Pandora that you mentioned, I'm not going to bore you with the whole thing. Pandora was the precipice for a lot of us. I was worried because I was told that the Flight of Passage ride was like the first one that a big guy might not be comfortable on, whereas Disney, you fit on everything great. So Pandora, I was thrilled when I got off and I was able to fly. And I had done like a little video where you, I just said on the video was a little Facebook thing about, oh my God, I just flew and I did all that, it was great. Somehow that got to James Cameron, who was there, and it got to Bob Iger, and then got to the people at Disney, and they had emailed me and said let's work closer together. So I think Disney looks for more, sometimes it's not the numbers, it's just a genuine type of person they look for. They knew I was a real fanatic.
So next up, one thing I thought about, so John and Michelle grew up coming to Walt Disney World with Cindy, like she said, with Disneyland girl. But when I was sitting here trying to think of what I can ask you that you may not know, what is something in the parks that you truly miss that's not there anymore? So because unfortunately Disney has to evolve, Disney has to change for new things to come in. Things have to leave. I know Disney fans hate change. We do. We hate change. We like the new stuff, but we don't want to lose anything we already have. We just want to expand the lane. But what's one thing that has gone away that you really miss to this day that doesn't have a good replacement? And Michelle will start with yours.
Okay, without hesitation, even though I would miss a lot of things. The Osborne family, that still hurts, and by the groaning of the crowd, I agree with me, that one hurts, and it guys, I mean, it really hurt. I think that for me too is that when we used to come to Disney before we moved here, I used to come for Halloween. I never used to stay for Christmas time. My family come from, big Italian family, we do Christmas together. But fall was like, Halloween we did. So when we moved here, I got to go check out the Osborne lights, and everyone's like, you have to be standing in the middle, and then when Santa Goofy pushes the lever, it's just boom. And I'm like, so I went and I stood there and I waited, it wasn't even dark yet. And I was like, I'm waiting and looking for it and waiting for it, and lo and behold, when that switch flipped, you were overwhelmed with Christmas and magic, and I don't think I breathed for a few minutes. I was like, oh! And then when they announced in 2015 that would be the last year, I'm like, they can't do that. This is something far too wonderful. And I think that you miss things that when they go away, but I feel like the Osborne Lights was something that was memories for people. It was Christmas magic, a lot of people had created a lot of good memories with their families. And I know the streets of America, there wasn't a lot going on back there, and that's okay, but at Christmas time there was. And I guess part of me hoped that they would move Osborne Lights someplace else. There was talk about different times. But I think that's one thing that I will always miss is the Osborne Lights. I just think it was a beautiful addition to Christmas time. And as much as I think Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam is cute, and then the sunshine or sunset season greetings, it's still not the Osborne Lights. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, John.
Spectral magic. And you think I'd say the regular Main Street Electrical Parade, which that was my thing as a kid. But Spectral Magic, for some reason, the music did something to me in the fact that there is no nighttime spectacular. As far as parades go, that needs to come back big time. I don't care if it's new. I don't care if I have to buy the last light for the Electrical Parade again for the 5th time, I'll do it. I miss the Electrical Parade, but Spectral Magic. If they told me it was coming tomorrow, I'd be the first one to sit on
Cindy?
Mine would be from Disneyland. It's still there, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, which used to be in Magic Kingdom, but unfortunately, since I have been in Central Florida now only just a little over 2 years, but we had been, we were in Atlanta before we lived here, so we would ride in Magic Kingdom, but it was not when Mr. Toad's Wild Ride was here. So we are going to do a Disneyland trip next year, so I'm excited to take my daughters on back for the first time. But there's something about just knowing, that was one of the first rides that was there when Disneyland opened, and it was here, and now it's not here. So I think mine is more one of the attractions I miss. And the Main Street.
You just looked at?
Does anybody remember that ride?
I love seeing the nods of agreement. They're like, oh yeah. We picked out good things that people agree with us on, so it's good. And just for an honorable mention, since none of us mentioned it, wishes. Okay, so it's wishes, but also celebrate the magic, the castle show. The original. I really think that Celebrate the Magic had magic because it had waltz on the castle, and it had all your favorite movies. And my younger son and I, who's definitely snack, we knew the whole score of. Yeah, so we would sing it. I could probably get him to come sing it, but we knew the whole thing. So when that was over, so we weren't just losing wishes, we were losing Celebrate the Magic, and I think both were magical. And people still, we get comments from people on social media, and they're like, you say something about happily ever after, and they're like, yeah, but wishes, and it's like, I fully understand that because people don't like change. But I just thought I would mention wishes. Didn't mean to take a sidebar,
No,
but wishes had to be.
I was actually going to ask that nobody mentioned any of the fireworks shows that are going. With Illuminations just leaving, and then wishes, so we've lost. Oh, big ones.
Should have put tissue boxes up there.
Wow, that's a downer.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay. So this year we've all attended the Halloween party, correct? Making it not so scary. There was a lot of changes. I don't know if everybody's been there this year or not. There was quite a few changes this year as far as the fireworks show, and also the parade. They added some new things to the parade, and I just want to get your insight as to what you liked. If you preferred last year's party as opposed to this year's party, what you don't like about the changes, if there's something. And look at the face on Michele already. So we're gonna let you go last. We're gonna let John speak.
I like it better now. I do. I miss the ding dong bell at the castle, so where Ursula answered the door and all that kind of stuff. But the Jack Skellington puppet, I'm a puppet guy. I like those things. I think the Jack Skellington puppet sells me on the story. I like that the cartoon on the castle is the classic Mickey and Minnie, and not the crazy Mickey and Minnie. I like it. It's a cartoon on the castle. I don't know what else. There's other words I can choose that are not family friendly, and I'm not choosing those words. Exactly. So that's a goofy in the cartoon. Yeah, so I like it. I think there's a lot. We didn't lose a lot. I thought we were losing Hocus Pocus. We did not. So I like it. I think there's a lot going on. I think I did it. Right.
I like the changes with the parade. We, our family dresses up every year for Mickey's not so scary. We're
I'm sorry, they dress up, her photos,
Not
you
just-
think they're from Disney, the
Mhm.
family, it's like,
Thank you.
she worked.
I'm late on my taxes and have to file an extension every year, but I know what we are gonna be for Halloween every single year. And like I said earlier, my mom lives with us, so we went as Toy Story, and my mom was Barbie. And so it was fun to see Buzz Lightyear in the parade. The Boo to You parade for me is like hands down, and I don't even think of myself as a parade person, but Mickey's Boo to You parade, I am like, please everyone get out of my way, I just want to sit there and watch the parade, and I want to watch both showings. So I love the changes. Constance from the Haunted Mansion, I thought that was amazing. Like that, oh my goodness. So I was just sitting there with my phone videoing, and I love that. I love all of the changes to the Boo to You parade. That's my favorite. Yeah.
Well, they took my answers. I don't know. Can I elaborate on?
Elaborate, yes.
Elaborate. Okay. Can I be negative a little bit, or is it we're not doing that here?
We're honest.
We're all friends, honesty
Yes.
here.
They're like, oh, that Michelle, she's mean. No, I really liked Hallowicious. Can I just say that? I liked the Haunted Mansion music that was played on Hallowicious. When we saw the new show, I asked my son, I have teenage boys, and they're telling me the truth. I said, what do you think? They loved the Jack walking out onto the stage, but they missed. Do you remember in Hallowicious where they'd say everybody scream and all the fireworks went all around the park? That was pretty cool. We don't have that anymore. So I do miss that part. But like you said, the big Jack puppet that comes out on the stage is awesome. You want to get close enough to where you can see Jack because you don't want to miss it. I had to do it for me, and then we went back again just so because I didn't get close enough. Where the head media was back in the hub, I couldn't. You could see the fireworks, but you couldn't see Jack. You had to be closer. So it's kind of weird. You got to really put yourself in the right place to see everything in the new fireworks show. And I like how on the projections they have the ballroom dancers from Haunted Mansion, and that is pretty cool. And I agree with Constance in the parade. And you know who I really like in the parade is the Skeleton Man. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
They have so much energy.
You beat that.
Yes! They're the best. It's like they had a whole bunch of caffeine before they go out there. 'Cause they have all this
They
energy.
probably do.
They probably did. I think they are so good.
They remind me of the band from Hocus Pocus.
Oh, yes, they do. Oh, you guys like Hocus Pocus?
I do.
It does remind me of Hocus Pocus as well.
I love the Haunted Mansion dancers in the parade. I have a dream if they're ever gonna let a middle-aged mom do it for just one night. Like I just want to fully be in the makeup and do the routine and
See, so let both of us
just
do it.
like one night, one showing. We don't
Yes.
need to do like a 7-day run or anything.
No.
Just one night, one showing. Middle-aged moms.
And they put enough makeup on us, we'll look
Right?
like we'll look 20.
Well, what's 20?
Totally.
Maybe.
But no, I think that the Halloween party is, there's so many good things about it. It's my favorite. And I think, like John was on our Monday night show. I don't know if you guys watched Weekly Live. But we had John on and we were doing Halloween. And John almost gave me a heart attack on live video. Because if you look at him, he's like,
I thought Hocus Pocus was leaving, I did.
He said something about the Hocus Pocus villains spectacular leaving. Didn't I gasp?
I did.
It was an audible gasp.
It was because then I was thinking,
I
did I
just felt
miss
that
that?
with the other show that they weren't gonna do too. I know how Disney budgets and.
I know.
I'm
but
surprised it's over there.
I was really scared because I am like, I know it's obnoxious. I am a die-hard Hocus Pocus fan. I know all the words, I know the songs, I know everything about it. And I would have been very, very sad if the Hocus Pocus show was left. But John scared me momentarily. But we still have it. We still have it for now.
It's good too. Yeah.
So I have a side question. I would prep you guys for. Which do you prefer, Halloween or Christmas at Disney?
Christmas. When that castle was lit up, and it's snowing on Main Street.
It's so
It's the most wonderful, whatever they sing, it's just magical. And Santa live might sing Merry Christmas to the
It
kids.
makes you weep. Yeah. Oh, that
But
is.
there are people that I understand love think Halloween is.
Yeah, I'm like here with Halloween and like Christmas is like right there. Like
Below it?
just because I just love Halloween
Below it?
so much. And maybe it's just like it's like a different like it's like right. I don't. You know what? I like the same.
Do you get free cookies for Halloween?
Yes.
Oh.
For no.
Oh,
And you
yes.
get candy.
You gotta trick or treat for it.
You said no for Christmas. Which, by the way, is very funny. My mom, I'm sorry, my mom thinks it's funny. You know, there's free cookies for the Merry Christmas card, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas cookie. So then I took it to the studios and they have the cookies and the coffee for sale, and she's just taking it. No, she, what do you mean? Like I had conditioned her that they were free. It's great. She gave them all back when she found out.
That's awesome.
Michelle.
It's hard for me too. I'm gonna kind of like copy off Cindy, and I'm gonna say that they're people to me too. There's parts I love about both. Like I couldn't wait for Booty to start, all the parade and the Halloween festivities. I couldn't wait to see my first pumpkin on Main Street. I was stalking for pumpkin and merchandise. Who's gonna gotta have merchandise? And but like last night, we went over to Disney Springs really quick to get something to eat, and I saw that they were putting up the Christmas tree trail, and my heart was like, oh my god, I'm so excited! And I took a picture of it, and I put it online, and people are like, it's not even Halloween. And I'm like, no, but for us, covering events and living here, it's been Halloween since mid-October for us, so it's kind of like, August. We've been celebrating Halloween for
Target has Christmas sweaters. I went to Target yesterday.
Oh, see, they're with them.
So they're on it.
But I saw them setting up the Christmas tree trail at Disney Springs and I got excited. So, I mean, as much as I love the Halloween festivities, I'm ready for it when it's time for Christmas too. And you know what else is cool? Was it 2 years ago? Because when we first started going to the Christmas parties, it used to get like the same old cookies at every stand. A cookie, like a what are those things called? Snickerdoodle? And then like hot chocolate. But now they have different cookies and different spots. And Tortuga Tavern has snowman hot pretzels and blue raspberry slushies, which is good to know if you don't want cookies. So I mean, we go over to Tortuga a couple times to get us a snowman pretzel because it's something different. And yeah, you're gonna have blue lips from the slushie, but it's worth it. So I like both. I feel like such a foodie. I'm like talking about don't forget the pretzel.
Okay, so I want to talk about a news item and kind of a hot topic. What you got on your job? You trying to show something? You need to show something?
No, I'm just waiting to hear what you're going to say.
Yeah, very good. No, one of the biggest things, as everybody knows, the Skyliner.
We're going to talk about Skyliner right now?
Oh yeah. Is that okay? Are you done?
He doesn't want to partake.
Oh no, you're partaking. No, actually, it's not going to be negative, but as you all know, there was a mishap with the Skyliner. Disney's addressing it, and they're addressing it with all the people who were stuck on it for 3 hours. But I want to get your take, because you and John have actually wrote it. Cindy and I have not wrote it yet, but John and Michelle actually did write it immediately, and I just want to get your reactions to what you thought of it while I was working, what it was like.
I was originally scared of the Skyliner, and people said to me, why? Why are you scared of it? It's a bucket in the sky. It's not connected to the wire. It goes onto the wire, and then it goes, so no. But when I was on it, I liked it. And I thought, this might even be better than the monorail as far as transportation. It was pleasant. I didn't feel unsafe while I was on it. Then when I saw what happened on the news, I was very concerned if that happened in the middle of August. I'm not concerned with the falling as much as being up there for 3 hours and them not being able to get to you. It's an issue. They have to figure it out. Once they figure it out, I will definitely try it again. I will. I did like it. It was a nice, efficient.
And the big concern was the heat. How was it warm in there?
It wasn't. As long as you're moving, it was like having a very heavy fan on. Even when we stopped, it didn't get too bad too fast. Again, 3 hours, talking another story.
Okay, so I was not afraid. I'm really kind of the daredevil in my family. I'm like, ew. So we went on it. I couldn't wait to get on it. I'll just say that. I had been avoiding questions that our readers have been asking us because they're like, I'm trying to think, one of our admins kept calling it like a heat box of death or something horrible like that. I'm like, oh, come on, it's not that.
The internet is fine.
I know. Like, you're gonna die of heat stroke up there. I'm like, no, you're not. And I'm thinking to myself, well, God, I hope not, because I'm telling people it's fine. But as soon as I actually sat in the gondola, and as soon as it took off, you got like this big gust of wind that went like right to your face. It reminded me of like Jasmine getting on the magic carpet and wanted to Disney it up. You know, like it just went whoosh, and it was awesome. Like it was smooth. The view was beautiful up there. My hair is blowing. I'm having the best time, and I could not wait to bring my family back, but my scared family that didn't want to go on.
Still not going.
But I seriously loved every second of it. And then, like, so on media day, they had us like switch tracks. Like we went on this track, and then we went on this track. And then like the one track that went over to Epcot, you could see the construction of the Ratatouille ride, like, which is something that, you know, Disney's always been really big about not wanting you to see backstage. But with the Skyliner, there was nothing that they could do to help that. So it kind of gave you a peek behind what was going on over by the Ratatouille like, construction. But I honestly, my honest opinion is I love them. It made me sad when I had heard what had happened. I know a lot of speculation went out that evening. We chose not. John, I
We
messaged
talked
John.
back and forth. People were going for clicks really bad.
Real bad.
Accident, crash.
Do you guys know that people were putting up pictures of a training drill that they did like
Yes.
months before? People are having to like go down ropes out of the snow. They were not.
They were rappelling down.
Rappelling like off a cliff, and I'm just like, this can't be real. So we always take the cautious side and not put out things that we don't know for sure, because we do work with Disney and we don't want them to ever be upset at us for putting out garbage. So we just chose not to. We don't upset them.
Can I say that is one of the many reasons I love being a contributor to the Main Street Mouse, because there are so many Disney fan sites out there, but I just feel strongly about being a part and being connected to one that tells truthful and honest reports. So I feel like I know that you're always going to get a solid, truthful report at the Main Street Mouse instead of just, you know, paying attention to rumors and ridiculousness that's out there. I think that's an integrity thing for me, and I appreciate being a part of an integrity-filled website.
Well, thank you. That was very, very nice. And you know, there are times I'm not gonna lie, we're all friends here, and I'll tell you just like I do on the Monday show, when something bad is going down, we have a choice to make. You know, we're getting reports, we're looking on Twitter, we're looking at the newspapers, and we're looking, and we're seeing, and it's like, we literally have those choices to make. Are we going to put this out and get a ton of clicks on our site, or are we gonna wait for the facts and see what happens for real? And we always go against the clickbait, and we say wait. And when the Skyliner thing happened, a lot of our competitors, colleagues, which you will, they are all over it. And I told Scott that night, I was like, man, I still feel like I'm missing out, like we should be addressing it. And I put a statement out, we don't know what it is, I'm waiting to hear from Disney, but there were no clickable links on what I put out because you could not click it for money. It was just, this is all I know right now. And to me, that's integrity. And it stinks sometimes when you feel like you're missing out, but at the end of the day, that's what people want from you. You know, and then plus you don't get blasted on Twitter when you don't put clickbait out. And I don't have a stomach for that, you know, it's hard.
Well, I think the thing too is, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I think we are a society that likes to build people up to watch them fail. I don't know what that is, and I don't know why that is in our world, but, and maybe I'm on when I say this, but I haven't been on the Skyliner yet. I'm petrified of heights, but I can't wait to go on because I grew up going on buckets in Tomorrowland and Disneyland. So I thought that was the greatest thing with my dad. Like, oh, this is so great, I loved it. But for me, when this happened, like I said, I'm not here on my own. I just didn't think it was a big deal. Like, you've had to wait 3 hours for flights. Like, that's part of the growing process. And everyone was so quick to, I think, get on Disney for what happened. And I'm like, so now you should be promised the world because you got stuck on the ground? Yeah. It's like, okay, if you were having to like bungee jump down over some water or something, okay, maybe I can give you like a pass for that, but to me, I just think, let's show some grace. Let's show some grace, and there, was a situation that happened. It just, to me, wasn't that big of a deal. Like, we've been stuck on flights, we've been stuck on buses or trains or whatever, outside of
If I had to do
Disney
some
World.
certainty so they were coming down, that would have been worth some money.
Right.
I would have been seen, right? I would have asked you to video.
I know, but that's a lot of.
That's the camera!
That's not. That's YouTube
That's gold right there. Come on now. You say, don't jump, John. That's how we get there. We get the right angle.
I can't wait to go on it. I'm excited
That's what
to.
my question I had for you was.
Yeah, I can't wait to go on it. Like, they're working out some kids. Okay, that's all right. I'm working out, and I will be the person there. I'm excited.
Well, I will go with you because this one is not
I'm
right.
not going on that. There isn't.
And that's funny because I am petrified of heights. Like, I don't even like flying, but I cannot wait to go on this kind of.
It's not so bad, I promise.
And
I don't
maybe
think it
just
doesn't
take
look
a
bad
picture
to me. I'm excited.
And if something happens, I don't use So, but have they announced when it's going to reopen, or we're still waiting?
No, the last I did message our Disney reps earlier last week. It is testing, but no people want it. And I believe that it's going to be a while before they put anybody on it. They have to make sure.
They don't know.
Safety first.
And it's kind of crazy because they tested it for how many months?
Oh yeah.
Before.
Cast members were not
Yeah.
there before. I mean, it didn't last long with actual, people on it.
Wait, I don't know who it was. I don't want to quote, but there was an article that said how to get around Disney without the Skyliner. Really?
Why have they been doing that?
It's only open for 6 days. Whatever are you going to do? I couldn't believe it. And they were serious.
So what did they do for the 6 days before that? Everyone wandering aimlessly, not
How do we get around?
Not visiting Animal Kingdom or Magic Kingdom for sure.
No. Bless their heart. Bless their heart.
Okay. Another question I have for you. Obviously, I like food. John likes food. I mean, we like food. Yeah. Okay. And his DB article really wasn't about it. But we like the food at Disney. There's so many choices. What is your absolute favorite place to eat on property? Could be a walk-up, could be a quick sit-down, could be anything, could be a resort, springs, in the parks. What is yours and why? And we'll start with whose turn is it? I think it's Cindy's.
Yes, John, tell me.
I'm throwing you no.
Do they sell something called a Mickey pretzel? I would say, it's funny, I don't consider myself a foodie at all. Like, just to gauge, I love Taco Bell, like a lot. So there's where my love is. I had eaten that since I was a little girl. But I got to eat at Yak and Yeti at Disney's Animal Kingdom. And I had chicken fried rice there, and it may have been the best chicken fried rice I have ever had in my life. Ever. I haven't eaten at Mormota yet.
Mormota will not be sponsoring this.
Thanks. Yeah. Yak and Yeti, I just think is so, I thought it was so good. The chicken fried rice is what I had, and I went back again and got the chicken fried rice. So I've only been there twice, but it is by far my favorite, and really my favorite food just in general. It's a Mickey pretzel. Like out of all the snacks, I don't want to be specific in snacks, but the Mickey pretzel is just what I want to eat every single time. Like I never tire of eating a Mickey pretzel.
You know, I've never been to Yak and Yeti, and I really. I've been to Florida with them, so. No, I want to, but I'm a picky eater, and it's. Oh, you guys don't laugh at me. The reason, I have reasons. I don't like dark meat chicken, and I'm afraid to go to like restaurants like that, and they're gonna bring me my sweet and sour, whatever, and it's gonna be dark meat.
No, I hate dark meat chicken.
It's
Yeah,
so
maybe
not.
Mikey.
I just
No,
love
the
right.
walk-up in Epcot is dark beef chicken, because I asked them and they
It's
said,
like yak and yak.
no, I'm just saying. And the lady said, well, most of the Asian is dark beef. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's a
"Nah."
booth.
I believe I heard dark.
That's a booth people.
Dark beef is
I don't buy
I'm weird about it.
Hashtag booth people, let's get that pretty.
Booth people. Booth food is untrustworthy usually.
Oh,
You're like that one in
weirdness?
Japan right now.
I gotta get on a garbage can. I wanna go sit down.
Eat on the garbage can. It's like,
Somebody put your plate.
What's your favorite?
oh, me?
Right? No, I'm sorry, I'm not the host.
No, she's up.
I didn't need to like totally jump on Cindy's.
I understand. So what's your favorite?
I really like 1900 Park there. I like it for breakfast and for dinner. And it's not just the character interaction that I like, even though the characters are wonderful, but the food on that buffet is so good. It's just like, it's not garbagey buffet food. It's like, everything is good. The desserts are good, the breads are good. Like, high quality. I don't know like how much good things I can say about it.
Well, no, because I think what you're trying to say is that some of the buffets, the food is just okay because of the character interaction, the food's not great.
Right, and we've never been, and granted, it's funny because when you live here, when you live to people like, oh, you must do character dinings and stuff all the time. We're like, no, because we can't afford it. When you're on vacation, you do. So now we use like character dining and stuff for birthdays or special occasions, like Mother's Day, whatever. So that is like number one on my list of my favorite. And then if we're gonna, go like a discount lower budget, would have to be Trails End over at the campground because it is like the cheapest buffet on the property and the food is good. And if you go in the morning at breakfast, they have French toast bread pudding, which is so good. And then they have like little danishes and things. But and whenever we talk to the people at Trails End, they always say, oh, it's a hidden gem. Like they don't get a whole lot of traffic. It's usually easy to get a reservation. But if you go during Christmas time, they have like the Christmas tree and stuff like decorated out front, and then you can take the boat over and maybe go see the decorations at like the Contemporary to the Monorail Loop. So that's always a nice thing. Like when my parents come to town, like if it's around Christmas, get them on the boat over at Trails End and then go to look at the trees and the gingerbread over at the Floridian. So I think either way, those are good.
What's your favorite?
All right, so this is a really hard question. Because I'm thinking, where am I? What's the engagement? What's going on?
Go
The pizza window at Epcot has changed. It was never Viennappoli's pizza at the pizza window. I don't know. We got pizza right here. Why can't you bring this to the window? They are. I don't know why. So it used to be pretty bad. Now it's the same pizza as Pizza Ponte in Disney Springs. And I think between the dough, the sauce, the cheese, it's amazing. If you haven't gotten a slice of pizza from the pizza window at Epcot, go to the pizza.
It is good. We just went there last week and before.
And it is a big size.
And John got yelled at by a guy from New York.
Oh my God. The guy says to me, how's this pizza? And I said, it's really pretty good. He said, all right, I'll find out. I'm from New York. I'll let you know. And then he ate and said, I lose all respect for you. Did you not like it? He's like, eh. It's not pizza. No, because he wants the cheap New York pizza we used to get. It was good, but it was like yellow and dripping with oil. This is not that.
So he invited you over for cheese.
He did invite us over for cheesecake. His wife makes the best cheesecake ever. We do have yet to verify. We are going.
See, he points at me. He's like, I just met a guy. Never met him before. We're gonna go to his house.
Exactly. So
It was. And then the guy walks by and he's like, oh yeah, the cheesecake. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm bringing her with me. And it's oh yeah.
he's not the mob boss, so I trusted him. Good cheesecake.
You're gonna get wet.
Good cheesecake.
I don't know how I get dragged in with his schemes, but it is what it
Because he
is.
doesn't want to look desperate like
Yeah, so he's gonna drag me with him to go to a stranger's house. I guess weirder things happen.
And his wife doesn't even sell them, so they have no angle.
They gave you a business card. Figure that out.
But it wasn't a cheesecake business.
Oh.
Was it pizza?
It was probably like something. something to mock with you.
I'll laugh at you that
You
guy.
never know. You talk to people in the park, you just never know.
I know what I'm taking. You don't have to go. I know what I'm taking.
Cheeks hurt.
Are you guys done now?
If we have time, let's do more food stuff. The plaza in the Magic Kingdom is a hidden gem.
That's
It's a little hole in the wall, which gets to relax. You can have a nice grilled chicken, a nice burger. You don't have to pay that much money.
You know I have to send this video to Disney World.
The plaza's in there.
You said the hole in the
You
wall.
said it's
No, it is. It literally is all.
It doesn't have anything crawling in and out
No,
of the wall or
but the
anything.
kitchen is like the size of
There's
this.
a mouse in the menu.
There is a mouse.
You guys know the plaza?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of people skip it and don't.
You need a reservation.
It's easy to
You
make
can
a
make it.
reservation
It's
there.
pretty easy.
good too.
Easier than some other places.
Who you talking about?
I could tell we haven't eaten, we're like, I know.
Okay, well, one final question, each of you. What thing coming to Walt Disney World are you most excited about?
Mary Poppins!
Yes.
Cindy, you can go first.
I'm so excited for Mary Poppins. Like, giddy, beyond, dorked out, excited. I don't care. It could be us sitting around watching the movie together. I don't even know. I don't care. Because it's
You don't have to tell that.
Cindy said we could save millions of dollars and we can just put a DVD in. We can have seats and everyone will watch it together. It'll be like a sing-along.
We could do it.
I would think.
Look at their excited.
Yee!
Next month, I think we should play.
Front row, singing, following the dot, bouncing on the string.
Next month, we have a plan for next month too.
I would do it. Let's do it.
That's really good.
It's step we'll get one.
But
You
you
get off on the
did
table,
it at like 90.
My hip is not spraying up.
Okay, Mary Poppins is
Go ahead.
Rise of the Resistance. And I'm not a big Star Wars freak. I have learned enough about this ride, I've read enough about it. They are building it up. I'm accepting the build up, so they better not let me down. But we did have an event in one room. And I walked in and I just started clapping for the Imagineers. And so did everybody else. It looked like half the size of the lobby of the Contemporary with 50 stormtroopers and a big black screen into space. And it just looked, I just kept looking around going, wow. And the guy said, this is one little piece of this. So I'm really excited about what Rise of the Resistance is going to be. And I think that was maybe a mistake to open up Galaxy's Edge without it because people, so it's like opening up Pandora without Flight of Passage. There wasn't too much. But I think once that opens, I'm guessing we'll do it.
I love that you're not a Star Wars fan and you're so
No.
excited about it because I love Star Wars since I was a little girl. So I'm uber excited about it. So that makes me.
Wait till you see it.
We'll go on it together.
Yes.
I was in that same group John was for this media thing, and they were taking us in. We had to keep our phones out, basically not allowed to record, not allowed to, you can talk about it, but not too much. And when we had walked in, it was something so much more overwhelming than I expected. And it's like he said, it's just a small part of it, but wait till you see it, you guys. I wish they could have opened Galaxy's Edge with Rise of the Resistance because it is that good. And what we learned of the ride, I think people are going to be like head over heels for it because the technology and the imagination that they put into it, it's really good. I really wish I was dying because I wanted to take pictures so bad so I could show people and they didn't allow.
We're allowed to talk about what they described.
Yeah, we're allowed to talk about it, just no pictures.
Do you want to hear the discussion?
Yeah.
Okay. I won't do it. You're gonna pull
La,
it.
la, 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 la,
There's gonna be a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
There's more than one ride system.
Yeah, you know, I avoided your page while you work out, so that I don't want to see
She doesn't want to know, don't ruin it for
But she
her.
still avoids your face.
Not really.
Okay,
Sorry, I had to go.
No.
okay, for me, since I'm never ever gonna get a Rapunzel ride ever, I guess would have to be Guardians coaster coming to Epcot. It is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is the name of the coaster. In case you need to use that, it is going to be the first coaster that has a backwards launch. It is going to it's a story coaster. When they announced it at D23, they were talking about how the coaster is going to turn at parts of the story. So you're a coaster, but you're also being immersed in whatever story that they're trying to tell. Including, you know, I love retro music. I love 80s music, 90s music, and it's all just like that. It's just like the movie. If you go to the Odyssey Pavilion at Epcot right now and watch the 12-minute show that you can watch, you will see Guardians as one of the clips, and it's just fun. You know, and I think a lot of people need to be open to it because I remember not saying it was you guys that yelled at me because I wasn't, but when we put out 2 years back that Tower of Terror in California was going to change to Guardians of the Galaxy. And boy, the hateful comments that we got. And granted,
It was our fault.
it was totally our fault. You know, it was my idea. But no, you know, it's just that we were just talking about Disney people don't like change and like how can they do that? And I understood. But when we went out to Disneyland and we did ride Mission Breakout, it is such a good ride. It is, I tell people it's like a bouncing party. The music that they play, and you can see, it really looks like the Guardians of the Galaxy are in front of you when it opens. And it is, if they did that good of a job with Mission Breakout, you know, just kind of like revamping the tower, I can only imagine what they're going to do with Cosmic Rewind, because they're building that from scratch, the whole coaster and the story coaster. So I am down for that one, Cosmic Rewind.
I'm looking forward to it.
We could make you a Tangled Rocks.
I want
Out
that.
of Tower of Terror, we could do like another Gotham's Doom. Remember what she got?
Rapunzel's hair holding the car.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like the bouncing up and down would be like Rapunzel's hair. Like, you know,
I'm just saying it could be done.
it could be. I really think she deserves more than just a bathroom. It's a beautiful bathroom. But I will be so happy if that ever happens. Disney, I really listening, please.
Tiana has a gazebo with a smoking section. So.
So some people just need their due already, I guess. But yeah, honestly, on a whole though, as far as what's coming to Epcot, it's really exciting. And I know that if you go there now, there's a lot of walls, and there's a lot of the Food and Wine Festival does not look the same this year because of all the construction. But if you go to the Odyssey Pavilion and you know, just even do some reading about what's coming, it's going to be so worth it. It's so exciting, and so this little bit of inconvenience is going to really pay off in the long run because they have really great things coming.
And it's going to be a whole different car.
It really is. I'm excited.
Well, thank you guys so much for answering the questions, talking about the news. Thank you all for coming. We're going to shut off the live feed here in a moment. Did anybody want to say anything to the live online viewers before we sign?
Thanks for watching. Thank you for watching from home. I'm sorry that not everybody could come. I'm sorry for anybody who missed this because of the parking situation here. But you know, if this continues to go well, maybe you'll be able to catch one live with us in the future. We're hoping.
And that's what I was asking before we shut off. Did everybody here enjoy this? I mean, did you like this? Well, and you guys all enjoyed it, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah.
So we can announce that November 24th will be the next show. We'll be here again, so it's the Sunday before Thanksgiving. That will be here again. There will not be another festival going on. So parking should be easier.
We're not.
We're going to find all that out ahead of time.
I actually had a meeting this week with the marketing manager
Yes.
to talk about it. So we will find out. But he wanted to know our opinion. I'm going to tell him that the parking situation was good.
But it wasn't supposed to be that way. But like I had said, you know, we had talked that, you know, the first show you're going to work out kinks and see what works and what doesn't. And I think considering, you know, there was a festival here that we didn't know about and parking and such, I think that we did okay. And I'm really glad to see all of you. I'm so grateful that you guys.
Thank you guys.
Yes, thank you guys.
We are going to do a Q&A.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do
Studio audience, don't go nowhere.
Yeah, so go ahead. We'll shut off the live feed.
Live audience.
Thank you all for watching.
Real soon.
We're going to broadcast